David Moyes has just completed his pre-match press conference for our heavily anticipated game against Southampton this weekend at London Stadium. And let's just say it's not good reading. We've got all of that coming up and the updates right here on West Ham Official after this. Well, I'm just going to sort of run through the press conference that David Moyes has just completed and sort of go through the main points of it because it's not good. And I thought I'd take this opportunity today just to discuss it. Of course, we'll discuss it more on a deeper level tonight on the preview. Join us 7:30 right here on West Ham Official for that. An opposition fan. Here's analysis of Southampton's season, of course, and much, much more will come up. But overall, the main point that I want to discuss is about the injuries then. So David Moyes assesses our team at the moment is pretty good. We've got a couple of illnesses and a little odd injury. Emerson has got a bit of a sickness. Aguerd has got a grumbly hip. That's the first time I've seen a hip be described as grumbly. And also Scamacca has felt his knee. Well, I hope he can feel his knee, Dave. but yeah, it's not good, is it? You know, that sort of implies that there's quite a big chance that if Emerson's ill as we speak, he's probably not going to be fit enough to start on Sunday. You've got a Aguerd that's got a dodgy hip, so he's obviously picked that up over the international break, which is what we dreaded and we've now got. So would we expect him to start? Depends on the severity that David Moyes didn't really mention of his injury, and as well Scamacca, who's been sort of dealing with this sort of knee problem pretty much since he joined the club. So would you expect him to be involved? I mean, Danny Ings will probably start up front on his own with no one within 55 yards of him anyway. But I think the key big misses we've got to take into consideration here are Aguerd and Emerson. You know, taking Aguerd out, which means you have to upset that sort of back line that we really want to settle down now, in my opinion, with Aguerd, Zuma, Soufal and Emerson, and taking two of those away, half of it is not good reading, especially in a game where we're coming back after a big break. We've got 9 games in April. We need our players there and we need a settled back line. And I just hope that with Emerson and with Naif Aguerd there, that they are going to be back as soon as possible, if not for this game. It'd be a massive boost if we could go through with that team, you know, with that sort of back line that I've mentioned, because I think that would be a massive boost. Aguerd, a hip, you don't really want to risk it, and it ends up making it worse. And hopefully time will tell with Emerson, because otherwise you have to put Ogbonna alongside Zuma, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but the bigger issue is having to put Creswell probably at left back or switch something around. And yeah, that's definitely what we don't want. So hopefully if we can get Emerson back to some sort of fitness, then I think Moyes will play him, because I just don't really think at this stage we can afford to be playing Creswell in a Premier League game where they've got a bit of pace on those wings. Southampton, we'll talk about that a little bit more later on in the preview, but they've got that bit of pace there. And Emerson's been finding some form. He's played a couple of games over international duty, I think, and he's just setting himself into a bit of form. So the last thing we want is for him to be disrupted by a couple of games, because it's bang, 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 bang now. You know, we've got so many games at the London Stadium, away from home, of course, as well, inside this, you know, April period. Got a factor in Europe as well. So David Moyes could definitely do without this. In terms of the relegation battle, Moyes has mentioned, I've not worked it out, but I'm looking to see there's 9 or 10 teams who are involved in the bottom, where unfortunately one of them we didn't want to be Dave. It's just naivety, really. And that's annoyed me, that comment. I haven't really looked at the relegation battle. Well, you want to look, Dave, because you really do need a reality check. There's 8 teams in the relegation battle, because I'm pretty sure that with a 10-point gap, Villa and Chelsea aren't going to be pulled back down into it. So there's 8 teams in it, Dave. Let me just tell you that. And we're in deep, deep trouble. And if we don't beat Southampton, then I do fear the worst. So just do a little bit of education between now and Sunday. And I think he really needs to realise the severity of this game, how big this game is. We need to win this game. Anything else is completely non-negotiable. It is the definition of a relegation 6-pointer. And Moyes seems pretty relaxed about it. Oh, I haven't really worked out the relegation situation. You want to flip and work it out, Dave. And he talked about the supporters and the jam-packed period of April. He said we've got 9 games in April. It's going to be tough for the players, you know, and we need the supporters help. There we go. We need the supporters help once again. We'll put something on the pitch that is worth cheering about. On the game plan, well, this will be interesting. The simple things we've got, the simple things we have to get right is we've got to score goals and not concede any goals. Well done, Dave. In between that, there was lots of things. The most important is winning games. Oh, well done. Uh, we've got to get that win under our belts. We are in a really important stage with lots of games. But you got that right. We've got 3 games in 6 days. We have to take and get what we can. I really hope this doesn't become sort of an excuse now, because we've got a squad there with quite a few players. You know, hopefully we don't get too many more injuries. And yeah, I mean, what he said fundamentally is right about Premier League football as a whole. You need to score goals and not concede goals and win football matches. That is the fundamental sort of objectives of football. So I'm glad we've established that now, and I hope that he's got some sort of game plan to go and try and counteract the Southampton side that will no doubt come and try and get something off of us, because they need points as much as we do right now. It's a scrap down there, and we're not doing much scrapping at the moment. So hopefully, you know, not by the sounds of it, but Moyes has instilled into these players that this is absolutely massive. In terms of the opposition, he talked about James Ward-Prowse. He said, what I do know of James Ward-Prowse is that he's a really good footballer, an incredible set-piece taker, and by all accounts, a really good lad as well. So he's done his research on James Ward-Prowse. There we go. In terms of Europe, he said, I think our results in Europe have been really good. 10 unbeaten. That keeps us going a little bit. I see the players around the club in a good mood, good spirits. Well, it's not what we've heard over the last few days through various sources, is it? Good spirits, I hope, can be brought by a win, by a couple of wins, some positive performances. Let's hope we can see that very, very shortly. And in terms of standards of the league, he said, I think in the Premier League, there is very little difference in the teams. We've got 2 or 3 outstanding teams, but after that, there's not a lot in it between the rest. I think that's fair enough. Yeah, the standard of the Premier League this season is appalling, I think, really. There's 8 teams in a relegation battle, and not one of them is sort of away from the pack. You know, there's 4 points separating these 8 sides. It's mental down there. It wouldn't surprise me if something comes down to goal difference. So every goal, every, consolation, everything counts now. We need to scrap for our lives, because otherwise we're going to find ourselves in the Championship. That's the reality of it now. And I just hope a couple of these comments coming out from David Moyes sound like he's a little bit more relaxed than he probably should be, currently sat in a relegation battle, that he hasn't really looked at the relegation situation. Well, you want to have a little look, Dave, because, the trouble is there and it's for all to see. And especially if you're mentioning some of these injuries that could be cropping up, that's not good news. Hopefully, the team can work and the medical team can work. Maybe with some smoke and mirrors. Moyes has done that before, and he's just magicked a couple of players in there. Let's hope it's something like that, and let's hope we can get all of these players incorporated into this side and team ahead of this massive, massive game on Sunday. I'll catch you later on for the preview right here on West Ham Official. But one thing I do want to mention, from 5 o'clock onwards today, all the way through until 5 o'clock on Saturday, there is a 24-hour live stream over on the West Ham network, all trying to raise money for Iron Supporting Food Banks in a time where they're finding it increasingly difficult to fund and support families. We, as a West Ham community, are coming together to hashtag bring a quid to all the home games through April. There's plenty of them. So please, if you can, bring a quid to the Aquatic Centre to help out the food banks, and just pop along and support the guys over on the West Ham network through their 24-hour mammoth stream to support the food bank. I'll be cropping up on a few occasions, so watch out for me there. And yeah, in terms of the game, massive game coming our way on Sunday, of course. So we'll have the preview, we'll have match day content, as we will be up at the London Stadium on Sunday. So look forward to all of that right here on West Ham Official. We are back, and we are bigger than ever in a massive month for West Ham. We've got the Youth Cup in there as well. Plenty to look forward to, plenty of content coming your way. The place to be is right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye, and we'll see you later.